Good morning, all. Welcome to the Maurice Academy of Design and Craft, Risk Management for the Creative Businesses. The Maurice Academy of Design and Craft is an institution that trains in respective areas, different areas in the creative industry. And we are particularly supporting the creative industry during this period in giving business management webinars that will support the continued development and at this time analysis of your business to continue further and to move on beyond COVID. So I'm Calvin Maurice, the Executive Chairman of Maurice Academy, and I'll be joined by Shivani Seunarine this morning, who will do the presentation in regards to risk management for the creative industry. Key factors that one has to consider as risk issues in the creative industry would be, commitment, first of all, to your business, particularly in really tough times. Support you may get in your business to have your business sustained, because I know that as a business owner, you need a lot of support, moral support, family support, your business team support. Another area is communication, the type of culture you develop in your business, whether it's a positive culture, a negative culture. Technology, particularly now, you'll see the purpose of technology in your business. Organizational structure. If not, it may be an informal business structure where you have somebody doing your accounts outside of your business, where you have persons helping you. A very informal structure, maybe a very strict structure in regards to a manager, supervisors, and continue training and development. That's also an area that could help mitigate the risk in any business. So we will take you forward this morning, and I would like to now introduce Ms. Shivani Seunarine, who would take you through this morning, and then we'll go into questions and answers with regards to this particular area of the webinar series that we are offering. So Shivani, good morning.
Pleasant morning, Calvin. Pleasant morning to everyone. How are you all?
Very
Calvin,
good.
How are you?
Do you have your tea?
Yes, I do. It's National Tea Day. Yeah,
yes,
it's all local. Moringa tea I'm drinking. So
very good, very good.
Which one you're drinking?
I am drinking some wormgrass tea.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Right? So welcome to everyone. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for having me. Risk management. So it's a risk that if I put down this cup on the corner of my desk and it falls. So let me move it a little bit, that it wouldn't fall down. I'm managing the risk now. I'm managing the risk.
Very good, Shivani.
Right. So great. I know we have we have about 80 people that registered for the webinar, but we want to start because I know people coming in one by one. So pleasant morning to everyone who have joined us, and we look forward to having a very interesting conversation on risk management. Such a very important topic for us in the creative industry and whatever industry that you are in. But of course, a lot of us are coming from this area, the creative industry, handicraft, music. We have a lot of art and craft. We have persons who, are painters. So, a very, very diverse crowd I'm seeing. So here we go, risk management for the creative sector. So please allow me to share my screen and we'll take it forward from there.
Are you all hearing me? Morning.
And yes, Annette, we are hearing you. Welcome.
Oh, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. Junior Jones here.
Pleasant morning to you. I'm just going to share my screen a minute. Give me 1 sec, right, to share the screen. Share screen. Calvin, I can't share the screen. Could you just check on your end? The host has disabled the sharing abilities. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Renice, please, can you allow Shivani to share a screen?
Right, thank you very much. Great. So I think everybody is seeing it now, right? You see my screen, Calvin?
Yes, I am, Shivani.
Great, great. So here we go. So we keep talking about risk management, and you're always hearing about risk, and is especially now during COVID time. And before, whatever business that we are in, we keep hearing about it. So what is risk management really all about? That's a question that I want to start with. What is this really all about? Risk management. And many of us, you keep thinking, well, may not have enough money, so that's a risk. All different things come into mind as soon as you hear the word risk management. Some of us might say, so Calvin, would you say risk management is the management of risk?
Well, yes, trying to manage or avert or divert risk.
Risk, yeah.
Yeah, that you don't want to have a lot of risk in your business. But as we go forward, let's hear. So we're going to start with a basic definition of risk. And I want everybody to keep thinking as we move forward that risk management is a mindset. It's a change in culture for a lot of us. As you mentioned the word culture too, Calvin. It's where we have to change how we do business, how we do operations, how we think, especially in the Caribbean culture. So risk management, before you could win on risk, I should say, and before you could enter this discussion, always remember, it's a mindset. It's a new way for some of us to be thinking. Not everybody thinks risk. We simply think, okay, we're going to do our jewelry business. We're going to do our leather craft business, or we have an art, whatever, crochet, whatever business that we are coming from. And by all means, that is our trade, yes. But probably we need to enhance the trade by thinking about risk. And this is what the presentation is going to take forward. Risk is definitely uncertainty in meeting our objectives. That's a basic definition. We don't want to get too technical because this is what it is. Forget technical or non-technical. That's what risk is. It's uncertainty in meeting our objectives. We don't know, right? Whatever is your objective for your business, you don't know if you'll meet it. It's uncertainty. But this is where we have to come in now when you're talking about management of risk. We want to manage the uncertainty. And the word is so relevant in this time in COVID. Everything is uncertain. No problem. Right? Things could be uncertain, but we could come out on top. Risk could be negative, but risk could also be positive. And I want us to keep thinking that, yes, it's negative, but you have positive risk. And that's, many of us immediately will think, but what is the positive risk? So many different positive risks that will be coming out of COVID right now. Out of crisis, there's an opportunity. Many of us, we might say, oh gosh, it's crisis, and it very well may be crisis. But what about the opportunities that can arise from this now? It's going to make us, so many things that we will be able to do once we think about risk management. Anytime you think about risk, surely it's a lot to do with probability and statistics and a complex process that is difficult to apply. Anytime you're thinking about risk management, people believe you have to have an MBA or you have to have a doctorate in risk to understand, right? I say, no, you don't have to do it, right? Surely it's a lot to do with probability and statistics and a complex process that is very difficult to apply. I disagree. I think managing risk is one of the most natural things that we can do, and it is one of the most important. For me, risk management is essentially answering and asking 6 basic questions. The question that everybody wants to ask, no matter what situation they're in, whether it is a personal dilemma, a project progress, or some kind of organizational decision. So risk management, it's all about answering these questions, and then we could move forward. So as we move on to the 3rd slide, I want us to keep thinking risk management for your particular environment. If it's a creative business, whatever it is your business that you are doing, you have questions to ask yourself, and then and only then we can progress on risk. So we want to know, what are the 6 questions? So, and also keep thinking in mind, it is a culture change for a lot of the creatives, and nothing is wrong in that. It's good. Risk might be negative, but risk might be also positive. How do I capitalize on positive risk? And how do I avoid or mitigate the negative risk? Those are questions we want to ask. What are the 6 questions? So any area that you are coming from, this is what we want to keep thinking. These are the 6 basic questions to leave with. So if you don't leave with anything after this webinar, you're leaving with knowing what are the 6 basic questions. What are the 6 basic questions? Number 1, what am I trying to achieve? So before I could talk risk, I'm asking myself this. What am I really trying to achieve with my business? What am I trying to do? What might affect me? You got to be selfish now. It's me. You got to talk you, your business, right? That's what we're talking about. It's not a selfish thing. That's a business thing. Which are the most important ones? What can I do about it? Did it work? What changed? So I'm going back over these questions because this is the meat of the whole risk management. What am I trying to achieve? Do you really know what you are trying to achieve? It may be you're doing a crochet business, as we said, you want to make bags. All right. But what type of bags you want to make? What contribution do you want to make with crochet? Is it to make a profit? Is it that you want people not to purchase from an international brand, but you're purchasing from your brand? What do you want to achieve? And if we don't know what we want to achieve, then all different things are going to occur. And then we will be what we refer to as helter-skelter, you know, all over the place. And then you say, well, oh gosh, my business failed. Well, my business failed is because I firstly didn't understand what I am trying to achieve. What might affect me? So a business that I have, what out there will affect me? Do I have enough money to handle this business? Do I need to get a loan? What about the credit union? Calvin always talking about the credit union. Could I get a loan from the credit union? Do I understand different policies around this thing? I want to export. Do I know the regulations? I want to export kurma. Do I know the regulations? Somebody came to me and, you know, that's what we want. They want to export kurma. So they want to export a lot of the sweets. So great. But do you know the regulations? Do you know how to package, how to label for export? So what might affect me? So what might affect me might very well be is that I don't understand the regulations. I don't know the regulations. So that is a risk on its own. What are the most important ones that I have to concentrate on because it's uncertainty? I do not know if I will be able to achieve it. So I can't, you know, it's something that I've seen a lot. I see it in my job. I see it in dealing with business and everything. We want to do everything. No problem. No problem. Nobody cannot tell me, and I get really angry when people tell me, no, Shivani, no, don't do this now. You'll do this later. Oh gosh, you're doing too much. I said, no. I will get a headache if I don't do everything. But you have to know how to sequence and what is most important to you at the right time to do it. So it doesn't mean to say that you have 100 things that you want to achieve and you're not going to achieve everything. You just have to segment it out. You have to sequence. You have to say which one are the most important priorities. And that's what I'm going to do now. If I don't do that, then I'm going to have big trouble. So risk management, which are the most important ones that you want to achieve? What could I do about it? Do I know really what to do? You know, do I know what to do? Right, I might say, okay, well, to manage the risk of not being able to export, I need to really understand now the different regulations. I need to know how to ship. So I say, okay, let me go and understand that. Did it work? Did that response work? What changed? So these are the 6 questions that we take in slide by slide. What are you trying to achieve? So, you know, you put it back into your perspective. What are you trying to achieve? What might affect you? What are the most important ones? What can you do about it? Did it work? What changed? 6 questions. Asking yourself, so you're going to break it down. What are we trying to do? This leads into the first step in a risk process, which is objective, understanding the scope and the context and the environment within which we are having to manage risk. What am I trying to achieve is the first question, and it is the first step of the risk process. What are we trying to achieve? Because I always say, if you don't understand the scope of your operations or your project, if it's a project environment or it's a, your business or whatever environment it is, if you don't firstly understand, and I'm using the word scope, which is the operation, is what you have to do. If you don't know totally what you have to do, then you cannot identify any particular risk, or it will be limited. So I have to totally investigate what I am doing. So let's just take this quick example. It's a lettercraft business that you're doing. You're asking yourself, what do I want to achieve? Do I want to produce a line of bags similar to Alligator or probably better? What do I want to do? Do I want to produce eco-friendly bags? Do I want to make a profit? So once you have outlined all of these things for your particular business, because your business wouldn't only have one thing you want to achieve, it might be about 15 or 20 things. Then you are looking at it, pinpoint each one, point by point. All right, I want to produce a line of bags similar to Alligator. Okay, great. What are the risks associated for me doing something like that? A risk might be people mightn't come. They mightn't want to come to me. They might want to go to another type of brand, right? To produce eco-friendly bags, I ask myself, okay, so it's eco-friendly, right? But would I be able to get the materials? Would I be able to get the materials? So then I might be over budget if I have to do something like this. That's a risk. I might not be able to have a particular timeline over schedule. So risk is a lot of brainstorming. And the only way that you could get it right to know all of your risk is by you documenting everything that you have to achieve, point by point. You list them, and then you look at the risk associated with every single line item. So, we were in conversation recently with a lettercraft and then a wine business and many different businesses in the creative sector. And when persons started to outline what they needed to achieve, and I said, well, I really can't do it this way. In order for me to do it this way, I need to do something else. That was the risk management coming out. And nobody they didn't think about it from that point because they were just not thinking risk. And they did not totally understand what you want to achieve. And it's something, in all the webinars that we were discussing so far, we are looking at the output. What do you really want? So risk management, for me to identify any risk, I have to know what I want out of my business, out of my creative business. Yeah. Nobody could tell you what you want. We have to know what we want. It's our thing. And this diagram really, just the diagram, this photo actually just makes you think, one thing you could pull out from this, from here, and everything falls down. You could make the wrong decision. That's risk, that's risk. So the first question, as we were saying, once you know what you are trying to achieve, the second question is what might affect me? So I want to do the leather bag. I want to make 100 eco-friendly bags. What might affect me in doing this? Are there things out there in the future that might hinder me in achieving my goals, or maybe even help me? And it's a topic that I want to talk about, a point, collaboration. We need to do more collaborative projects with other persons in the creative sector. And that, what you might be doing by that, you're teaming up with different persons, and you are definitely then going to prosper even more. You are exploiting a risk. You realize you probably can't do it on your own, and you need a little help. No problem. You collaborate. And collaboration, again, it comes back to culture and all of that. But things are changing, and we want to be able to do it properly. So are there things out there in the future which can hinder you in achieving your goals, or maybe even help you? That question might affect your step in risk identification. Finding the uncertainties that matter, the future events which, if they occurred, will help or hinder as we try to achieve our goals. So you might say, okay, I want to make profit. I want to develop these bags, but I need to get a loan, right? I need to get a loan. So that's uncertainty. That's how it will affect you. If you don't get the loan, then you can't do this. So you need to do things to make sure that you get the money, right? So you may have to collaborate. But so far, we are trying to identify the risk based on your objectives for your business or based on what you need to achieve. The third question is that not all of those things we identify are equally important. So my third question will be, what affect me are the most important? So everything, so it comes like, in my organization, I'm trying to get, I may want to get another job, right? Or another area or to move up in a particular industry. I might say, okay, is it that is everything that will affect me or that may hinder me from getting that job or that might support me in getting that job? Not everything, but I have to sequence what will help me. That's risk management. That's risk management. It leads us to the step of the risk process, which is called risk assessment, risk evaluation, or risk analysis. All those big words, and all it simply means is, hey, you see, this is my objective. In order for me to do that, I need to manage these risks. But I'm not going to manage the 10 risks, I'm going to manage the most important one, the one that will actually achieve that business. All the others, I might forget about it because it is really that important when I really analyze the thing properly, or I put it on a backlog somewhere down the road. I may revisit it again. Try to prioritize the things that might affect us in 2 key dimensions. How likely it is to happen? And if it happened, what effect could it have on your goals? Either positive or negative. Because risk includes both threats and opportunities. Remember that. Risk includes both threats and opportunities. So don't only look at risk as being a bad thing, as we keep saying and we're introducing. It's not always a bad thing. It may be a good thing too. Capitalize on it, exploit it. So what are the first 3 questions as we move to the other 3? What are we trying to achieve? As we saw for the leathercraft business, I want to make eco-friendly bags. I want to make a profit. I want to be better than this. I want to contribute. I want people now to only come to Shivani Seunarine for bags. What are we trying to achieve? What might affect me? So then I might say to myself, okay, I need to make 100 bags, but what affected me is that I'm not getting the materials because I hear the place closed down. I'll say, all right, but what are the most important ones, right? Well, I need to get this material. I need to get this material. So that's very important to me. Other things may not be important. So it gives me a priority list of uncertainties that matter. So I'm not going to respond to everything. I'm not going to respond to everything. So it comes like you're living with your husband and your wife in a house. You have all these different risks to manage. It's uncertainty, but are you going to handle every single thing? Is what matters most. So it gives me a priority list of uncertainties that matter. Now the 4th question. What should we do about it? So now we know what we want to achieve. Now we know what affects us and what is the most important things. Then you're asking yourself, what should we do about it? This is really important. Otherwise, we are just victims of uncertainty and things might happen on our projects which we were not expecting. So now we know what the key risks are. We can design some responses. So you have to know how to respond. We can try on bad risks to avoid them or minimize them or protect ourselves, right? For good risks, we can try to maximize or exploit them or make ourselves able to be able to use them if they happen. So the 4th question is really, what should you do about the risk? Should you Should you avoid it totally? Should you reduce the probability of it happening? If it's a good risk, should I exploit it? Should I enhance it? How to make it happen? Because if it is good risk, you want to make it happen. If it is bad risk or negative risk, you don't want it to happen. So you have to look at different responses, but what will work? And as we move into slide to slide, we keep in with the same point. You do not have to respond to every single thing, because every single thing may not be important. And that's a business sense. That's the business acumen will teach us that. You know, that is a skill that we must have, whether it's in risk management or not. We cannot respond to every single thing. We have to know what is the most important for us to respond to. Our fourth question on what you're trying to achieve, what might affect you, which are the important ones. And then, of course, we have to do what we said we will do. So the fourth question is to do it, right? However they say respond, you have to do it. You have to do it. If you said that you need to take a loan, if you said that you need to collaborate with somebody else for the industry to get economies of scale, to get things cheaper. If we said that, okay, I am going to be over budget, I need to cut down on the quality of the product. I mean, you may not want to do that, but you're looking at everything. How to respond to something. That's risk response. That's risk management, putting in a control in place. And my fifth question, did it work? Often we find that the actions that we plan to take in response to risk are actually achieving what we did want. And so we might need to modify our approach. I have seen that many, many, many times, right? In industries, in business, in jobs, and just in life. You said that, okay, this is how we're going to respond. But you know what? We just do it. And we forget now to analyze and to ask ourselves, did our approach really work? Now, we say in organizations that is a fault in the decision-making process. I see it in my job a lot. We want to make decisions, we make the decisions, but nobody went back and see, did that decision really work? Or we try to butter up the thing that it really did work. But in our real life, in our real business, we cannot do that. We cannot do that in organizations too. So the question is, go back. Did you say this is going to respond? Did it work? You have to sit down and think. And you know, it reminded me of a previous webinar we did on design thinking, which is ponder. And it is a technique that you're doing in risk management and you're doing for your business. Businesses like that. Things will change. I said, this is how we're going to respond to this risk. But did it really work? It may have worked. You think it worked, you know, but you just solved a symptom of the problem. You didn't really solve the whole problem. So always remember to ponder about it, right? As I keep saying, that's my favorite thing to do, ponder. Did it work? And go back. We call it in risk management an iterative approach. Right? You go back and you revisit what you do. Nothing is wrong with that. You can't revisit. We have to revisit. Do not think that this is the best way to respond to it. It may be the best way to respond to something at a particular time, but times change as we see it now. So it brings us now to the sixth question. The sixth question, which is really important. What changed? Project life. Business is constantly changing. COVID-19, thought about that last year all around now, nobody bothered about it. Well, you know, before nobody thought that this could happen. Some people may have. Business is constantly changing, very dynamic, and we need to make sure that we spot the new risks that have risen since the last time we looked, since the last time we took action. I think those 6 questions are easy. They are intuitive. They are the sort of questions that anybody will ask in any important situation for our businesses, for our creative industries. Because as we said, in the creative field, we go with passion, we go with what we feel to do, we go with our gut. Nothing is wrong with that. You have to trust your gut. Some people can do it better than others, right? But come back to understand risk. What are you trying to achieve? What might affect me if I do this? If I make this bag, if I go into this wine business, this leather craft, if I try to export, that's what I want to do. But what might affect me? Which are the most important ones? I'm not going to look at every single thing and put in a response to it. What could I do about it? Which is how you're going to respond to a situation, right? Yeah, and it is. I always look at it from this point. How well you respond or how well you react to a situation. It is the true essence of who the individual is, huh? And you could learn it. I will never say somebody cannot learn it. So what could you do about it? And you know, I do it in organizations, and definitely in business we will do it. In risk management, once you know what are the risks associated with you doing your particular task, everything, and a risk is uncertainty, always remember it from that point. Don't think any major risk management model, well, this is a risk management model. You know, what does it affect? Now, you alone might not be able to identify all the risks, right? Because you may be seeing it one way. You may need a collaborative approach. You may need a team of people. And when we say a team of persons, we don't mean any major subject matter expert, probably a family member if it's your creative business. Probably you come to me and you ask me, you ask Calvin, you know, we're here to do this type of work. And you just ask. So you alone may not be able to identify your risk because you are not seeing something, somebody else seeing it from a different perspective. In organizations, what I like to do, I like to call the most troublesome people. When I have a problem and we're trying to solve something, I call the most troublesome people. The most troublesome people, they will identify all the possible risks. They will tell you everything that could go wrong. I want those people in the session, right? And in your environment, it may be a family member. They are the most troublesome people. Call them, ask them. You know, so do not think that subject matter is not out there. Subject matter may be right near to you because we may be only seeing things one way. And I always think about things from that perspective. I may not be seeing it from how it's supposed to be seen. So I may talk to Calvin, I may talk to somebody and just listen. I say, well, you know, I could really improve on what I'm doing, right? I could really improve. So that's a culture thing too, you know, we don't like to do that. Everybody don't like to do that. So what might affect you? What is the most important ones? What could you do about it? And once you have done that, did the response work? Did that response work? And what changed? What changed now? Something may totally change. Look at it. How is COVID now, the business world, that is affecting your business? It's dynamic. As the government, we keep hearing the word over and over. It's fluid. Things change and we don't know. How are we now going to capitalize on this crisis? So what changed? Do we have to revisit our plans? Do we have to revisit our plan? You know, we were talking about it in sports. We may have to go back to the drawing board. No problem. That may work. You go back to the drawing board and guess what? You come about with a better product. You come about with a better product. And it's because we are thinking about risk management. We come about with a better product. If we build our risk process around those 6 simple questions, then it becomes easy to do it. It becomes a natural process that does not involve lots of bureaucracy, lots of forms, lots of statistics. Calvin will know I don't like that at all. I don't like no bureaucracy. Yes, I have to work with it and I will be able to manage it because that's what I have to do. But once you think risk management, it becomes natural. Right? You want to make it part of your mindset. We are just asking and answering important questions. Of course, on a bigger project, we might want to apply those 6 questions at a more detailed level with templates and tools and modeling and all sorts of other approaches. But as it is the root, whether we are trying to put a man on the moon or trying to set up our handicraft business, the same 6 questions apply. The same thing applies. So the next time you attempt to think that risk management is really difficult, remember these questions, ask them, answer them, and manage your risk. I want to ask somebody now. Calvin, what are the 6 questions? Let me go back. What are the 6 questions, you all? Hazel, what are the 6 questions? I'm seeing you online. Am I by myself or what? Nobody here?
No.
What am I trying to achieve? As I say, what might affect me? Which are the most important ones? What can I do about it? Did it work and what changed?
And what changed? 6
Yeah.
questions for risk management. So you know what you want to achieve with your business. You know
Yeah.
what it might affect you. You know what is the most important ones, right? You know what you could do about it. You know if it worked. You know if it changed. I saw on the list Hazel that you're coming from France. So definitely things that you would have done in Trinidad, you have to know the regulations different in France, correct?
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Totally.
So what you want to achieve, what you want to affect, what are the most important ones, what you could do about it, did it work, and what changed? What changed? Doing a business in one environment is different from doing a business in another environment. That is risk management. Yeah? So risk management, I just want to show one last presentation, just a couple points on this, because risk is such a dynamic, entertaining thing too, I must say, right? Let me just get the last couple slides that I wanted to show. Right? 11 most common mistakes that we make. Right? Tell me, everybody seeing this one now, right? 11 most common risk management mistakes by small business owners. I should change that word to from small to anybody. What are the most common errors that I have seen? Avoiding these mistakes means less aggravation, less workplace downtime, and more money in your business checking account. We all want more money in our accounts. You want to look at the end of the day and see that your business successful and you are a true entrepreneur. What is the first mistake? Insufficient attention to control. So not taking risk management seriously. Yeah. I had in my environment, in my organization, he retired now, a storesman. And I really loved him because he was so meticulous and everything he wanted to look at over and over. So I could have just tell him, just look at it, do it. So not taking risk management seriously, right? He was somebody who took it very seriously in terms of risk, what could go wrong for, bringing in all these supplies. So a mistake that people make is insufficient attention to control. 2, I see it all the time, letting a politics drive your risk management decisions. Again, I will say this results from not putting enough importance on risk management to make a proper decision. Don't let politics bother us. I'm not talking about politics in government politics. I'm talking about politics in organizations and out different things. It may very well be in the organization and politics too. Number 3, risk management blind spots. It results from not looking at the enterprise as a whole, believing some areas will not be impacted by accidents. Look at your business. You have to look at your business, and the word we use in business now is enterprise management. You're looking at that wine business, you're looking at that leather craft, you're looking at that jewelry making, at that crochet as a whole. We're not only looking at it in pieces. The term is synergy, where the sum is greater than its parts. Believing that some areas will not be impacted by accidents. No, you have to look at it as a whole. Number 4, inadequate preparation for loss, not actually acting on your risk management decisions. You might say, well, I might make a loss, but you didn't prepare. Some of us go into the business and you know if you fail, you could handle it, right? Or you fail at one particular aspect. There are projects, there are endeavors, everything I want to succeed in, but I will go into it and say I'll learn from it, right? So I am only doing that if I know I could handle the effect or risk management if there is failure, right? Number 5, avoiding risk instead of managing its risk is very important to the growth of a business. Avoiding risk completely can do more harm than good. Look at our environment, especially if we are business people. You may want to take a risk, but you have to know to take the risk, prepare for the consequences of failure if it fails. You have to be prepared. Number 6, failure to communicate risk to your staff. I say in staff, it may be everybody involved with you. So basically just a failure to communicate business risk organization-wide. And I love these points coming up now. Failure to develop computer skills. Computers are a way of life in today's business world. Not knowing how to use a computer is negatively impacting your business in many ways, period, no discussion. But all of us here could use it because all of us on this platform now. But of course, computers and technology and this virtual environment, it's a way for us to respond to risk. We may need to do a lot of virtual environments and virtual platforms to manage our business. Inadequate people skills. Proper risk management takes teamwork. We have to be able to work well with others to prevent and reduce risk. And that's when we were talking about collaboration. We have to sit down and really understand, hey, we really know how to deal with people, collaborate. The term I like to use is emotional intelligence. Inadequate people skills, right? And many of us in this creative industry, we believe we suffer with the super person syndrome. Risk management takes a team. You can't do everything yourself. And as we said, you do not need a major team. It may be just people around you. You could reach out to many people in the industry. You could reach out to, as we said, this is what we are doing in the webinars. We're here to assess super person syndrome. Risk management takes a team. You cannot do it for yourself. And point 10 and 11, failure to document. This stuff needs to be in writing. This stuff needs to be in writing. Something that I do a lot of now, if I'm in a meeting, and obviously we're using a lot of virtual now, I'm not going with any paper or anything again. I'm going with my laptop, and I am creating Google documents to share one time. So I'm taking all the notes one time. I don't have to revisit it again. And it's shared one time with the people in the meeting. So document, it needs to be in writing. You may not be good at that, or it's not that you may not be good in that, but you may know your strengths. You may have somebody who could assist you in that, and that's what collaboration is about. That's managing risk. You know you are the risk itself because you are not that type of individual to take notes. You want to talk. I am like that. I will admit it. I am like that. I want to talk. But I mean, of course, I will manage myself because this is the environment I am. I have to take notes. I have to, go back and refer and to document because I'm preaching that. So I have to practice it also. But I'm managing that risk. So you have to know how to manage it. And one of the major reasons, again, a mistake in risk management for business owners, lack of creativity. Sometimes you have to think outside the box to find solutions to risk management problems. Best practices are great, but your business is unique and will have its own unique solutions. And that is something that I love to talk about as we close the risk management talk for now, because we could go on, we'll have other webinars on it to continue. Risk creativity. We say, okay, well, let me go according to this international standard and this best practice, and we want to follow it to a T. But you know what? It may fail because our business is unique. And in the Caribbean, we love to do a lot of that. We love to do a lot of that. We love to say it's an international standard and we're going to go according to that. It might not work. We may have to tweak it. I am not saying some standards are not good because this is the environment. We have not created anything new in the industry locally for us to go by. But in our organization, in our business, we may have to tweak it to meet our needs or to think about it, to think more successfully. So you take the best practice, whatever best practice you make in wine, you must have some type of wine standard that you're following, probably an ISO standard. And then you look at, could I meet those standards? Or you may have to tweak certain things. Not everything you could tweak because you have different regulations you have to go by in order to be a successful business. Otherwise, you will be out of it. So great, everyone. What I want us to leave with understanding is that risk management is not a technical discipline. It's 6 basic questions you want to achieve, you want to ask. It all involves knowing, what do you want to achieve? What are the problems associated with doing it, which is, what does it affect you? What are the most important ones? Find a way to respond to it, and always go back. I say, this is how I'm going to respond to the risk. Did it really work? Did it really work? And of course, keep coming back. Something changed, I have to go back to the drawing board again. No problem, go back to the drawing board again. Thanks, everybody. So, Calvin, any questions?
First of all, let me thank you, Shivani, for such a relevant presentation, because I believe that everyone on the webinar related to what they're doing, and it's very practical, you know, and let me congratulate you as usual. It's now open to ask questions. You all can ask questions. I don't want to take over to ask questions on your behalf, so please feel free to do so.
You could also type it. We saw any type, Calvin? I don't know. I don't see any.
No, there's none in the chat, so they can ask questions as well.
Morning.
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 Yes.
Morning.
I have a comment. I am into handicraft and a particular aspect of the handicraft sector, which is upcycling. I specialize in upcycling. So
Upcycling, okay.
Yeah, I teach it. I always look for ways to manufacture something or remanufacture, if there's such a word, something that is not a prototype, that is not only aesthetically pleasing, but functional out of industrial and household waste. So I'm always thinking outside the box. I'm always reevaluating. I'm always going back to the drawing board. You understand? I always do that. And when you began to speak, an acronym came into my head, so the SWOT analysis. You have to know your strengths.
Yes.
And work on it and build it. You have to know your strength. Also, you have to know your weaknesses and you balance it.
Excellent point, Annette. Excellent point.
All right. That's what I do. I always think, you know, sometimes I sit down by myself and an idea would come and I would jot it down and try and you know, improve on it, you know. For instance,
so you are on the upcycling business. I know Calvin and I always talking about this upcycling business.
Yes.
I've done something
for UTT some years ago. I took part in the upcycling program up at Omera. And I also took some stuff up to Canada at the CARICOM Women's Incorporated forum. They had a big trade fair there. I wear many hats in the handicraft industry, but I narrowed it down to about 2 or 3 that I can manage. You know, that I can manage.
So you prioritize.
Yes.
Prioritize.
One of my main pieces is the belly dancer doll, where I incorporate aspects of Tourist Annie. I don't know, you might be too young to know who Tourist Annie was.
I'm glad you say that I'm looking too young. I'm glad.
You know, and our local.
Calvin, you know, Anna didn't tell you you're looking too young, huh? Tell me.
She didn't. I noticed that.
Was that me?
Yeah, you didn't tell Calvin he's looking too young. You just tell me.
Well, okay. Well, he young in spirit. He young. All right, and I combined the 2, Tourist Annie and our local belly dancers, and I came up with a prototype, a doll, which Yes, a particular type of doll, which I don't see anybody have. And I have those dolls, samples of them, nearly in every country, the Latin American country and the Caribbean. You know?
Great. Yes,
Yes.
man. Love to hear stories like that.
Yes, because some years ago, Hotel Magdalena commissioned me to do 22. And we had a
Mm-hmm.
conference. Mr. Maurice, you were at that conference.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
Right. The dolls that was on each table for each candidate from the cocoa producing
Right.
countries, they got one as what you would call, there's a word for it, I can't remember, you know, a giveaway, something giveaways. But I try to do that. I just 3 things I narrowed my thing down to, which are the dolls. I do key rings and bookmarks, small things, and I do the agro processing. Those 3 things that I can manage successfully.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Thank
Anna.
you.
Thank you. And it always have such wonderful contribution. I'm sure the other webinars, she will also share more. I see some questions coming as well.
Thank you. Let's handle them.
You have Desta. How often do you suggest an entrepreneur do this risk management process?
Okay. Excellent question. Who said that? Dennis?
No, Destra. It's Destra.
Destra.
Destra Francis.
Yeah. Right. So Destra, a very, very important aspect. How many times should you do risk management? And I would say risk management should be done throughout. It's a cycle. So you want to know how many times. I will identify the risk in the beginning, but at any point I should revisit the thing. Always go back. So it's continuous. Your pondering must be continuous. It's just what it is. It's something that you have to love to do. Say what go wrong, what could go wrong, and try to come back again. So it's iterative.
And particularly when you see circumstances or condition change, if you look at the pestle,
exactly.
When you see like political, economical, social, legal, when you see certain conditions change, then it's time to really revisit these risks. Yeah. Is it Joey? I see Joey say thanks again for making another concept so user-friendly. It's just as I was saying, Shivani, it was very user-friendly. You really broke it down, so compliment to you, Shivani. And I see Zero. Is it Zero or Zeno? Zero.
I saw Barry was having his hand up too. Barry, was it the hand up? Barry and Hazel.
Can run through the 11 points again as did 6 points. So what happened? We'll also share this presentation with you, Shivani. We'll share the presentation with them. Yeah. So we know that our social media coordinator will be linking with you. I think you all have a questionnaire to fill out, and upon completion, she will send you the webinar and the presentation. All right, so Barry, if we don't get back to you with 11 points, for to go it over, you can always go through when she send the PowerPoint, right?
Mr. Maurice?
Yes?
I'm so glad that I got on this morning, because last week we had no current for the whole day. And I know I missed a beautiful presentation. Judging from this
also
one.
Get recording. You could get the recording all the other presentations as well.
But I'm not too
techie.
Yeah. Okay. But so, if I can get it on my email, I can print it.
So what our social media coordinator will do, she will contact you directly and guide you through.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have Leslie Ann Beckles. She said same as well as Joey. Averia, that's St. Martin. How are there any persons involved in Carnival this season? In this season?
Session. This session.
This session, sorry. Yes, session. Great session, she said as well.
I didn't understand that point. Are there anybody?
Yeah, I guess they're asking if anyone here on the call probably involved in carnival. That's probably the question.
I am.
Um,
I am.
okay, and who's that?
Annette.
Annette,
I
okay.
am involved, yes.
Well,
I was
Julia-
actually, I was a band leader for about 7 years, winning small band on one occasion and individual on another.
okay.
So I am also into design.
Okay. Well, I'm Junior Jones. I'm also involved in carnival, logistics and band management on the road. So
Okay.
it was very interested, and I believe band leaders and practitioners who into the designs, and I believe sound system. I believe this is good thing for to lift the technology and lift everything. This was very the information was very good. First time I'm coming on to this with the invitation, but I'm into the carnival also.
All right, maybe we can link up.
I'm very happy the conversation started about carnival, because up to yesterday, Shivani and I were talking about carnival. And
Yep.
we were putting it out there. How can the creators become more involved in production for carnival? Because we know when you look at NCC reports, we see they're importing a lot for carnival.
That is the killer.
Garments.
That is the killer.
And I'm asking the question, where is the gap locally, and how can creatives get more involved so they can earn more from our local carnival production? And I know that will be another webinar. I really want to have Shivani, we should look at that as another webinar. And I'm glad that question came up, because it alerted me that it's something that we need to follow up on as a discussion, and probably we'll invite some people from the ministry and who involved in carnival as a carnival discussion.
I believe, Mr. Calvin, I believe if you're doing that, a good person or people to involve. Ministry of Trade have a lot to do with that, with dealing with this. So if you can get somebody from the Ministry of Trade to step into that, because majority of the imported and exporting and affecting carnival is because of the Ministry of Trade. Well, other than being that, I'm also a part of our association in the past, and that is what sometimes has caused some of the problems with importing and the raw material and so on and so forth, and the prices they had to pay. That's the reason why the costumes and everything else goes up in prices. So
very good.
If you're doing that, it will be very nice. Other than NCC, Ministry of Trade and Culture, I believe, have a lot to really, because they have some laws govern, they have some things zero rated and so on and so forth into carnival that people doesn't really know about.
Exactly. So
practitioners, we as Ms. Annette and whoever's involved in carnival, they can lobby in, and when they have anything like simple as cabinet meeting and joint select committees, they don't call we who into it, they call other people, and this is very important.
Very good. So that's a webinar we'll be having, so look out for it.
Oh yes. Also, Junior is Jones.
Junior Jones.
Also, remember, it's a body pocket, eh? Remember that. That's a very, important factor. Now, the government of the day, or governments of the day, past and present, that is how they make their money, through the taxes and the fees and the rates. And if you have customs and excise, which is, we will narrow it down to the carnival section, or the carnival part of the year, costumes that are coming in. You pay your fees, your customs, Also, when we export carnival, like pans and music, and so you pay your excise, I hope I didn't get it wrong. It's all about the pocket.
We will certainly do that. So you all look out for that. I want to answer some other questions before we leave.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We see from Barry and Hazel. Shivani, you see that question?
Yeah, no one gets into a business to lose money, but when you get into business, you also have to have confidence in what you do and the service that you offer. How can you be realistic in your goals? Very true. Very, very true point.
Yes.
You have to be very realistic. And how could you be realistic in your goals? Sometimes I have seen that you have to try it, huh? You have to try it. One might say, but Shivani, why are you saying that? You're talking about risk management, but it depends on if you are risk averse, you're a risk seeker, you know, how you view risk, that you will take a shot out of it. But you have to be realistic too. But sometimes you say in business, not all the time you have to be totally realistic, you have to give it a shot. But this is where you have to manage the risk properly. You have to identify it, and probably I will only go into it knowing very well that I have some support to do it.
Because I would like to, because when you made the presentation, during the presentation a while ago, I wrote down balancing innovation with risk. Because I believe innovation is very important, but it will require you to go and do a deeper risk assessment based on your innovation. Perhaps you may need to do it in phases, but innovation is all good. And, you know, people believe, well, you know, oh gosh, there's too much of a risk, I wouldn't do it. This is too much of a risk, I wouldn't do it. But you know, when you look at the people who took that risk, you will see that they're the ones making all the money.
Yes.
So if you look at all these band leaders, Tribe took a risk. Tribe took a risk to come out so big. But you know what? The risk, it was worth it. All right. So therefore, we have to balance risk, but we also have to be innovative. That's how we keep alive. That's how we keep our business going.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gavin. Yeah, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, Shivani.
No, you were talking about you going through it. So you talk risk management.
I see risk management should there be a separate budget in place to deal with risk?
Yes, definitely, Adana. Yes, you have to have a budget to handle risk. And it is part of your overall costing. But then you're thinking, okay, well, if this does happen, what will I do? So it has to be built in the overall cost framework. Yes.
Okay, and I see Leslie and Bettel say agreed, Adana. And then we have, is it Zero? Am I saying it correctly? One of the points you mentioned, inadequate people skills. Will you have a future webinar on networking? Yes, we will.
So the webinar that we're doing, Zero, would be in terms of handling for a virtual environment, developing people skills in a virtual environment. Right. So definitely it's a very, very important aspect now, because in moving down the road, we may not be able to sit in a cafe and speak to somebody or come into a business meeting all the time, but we are using this platform. So our people skills may even have to tweak when you are handling it in a virtual environment. So yes, we're running a webinar, and that is a virtual environment with people, for people, and how to do business in a virtual environment.
Okay.
And then
go ahead.
Innovation tunnel and scoping, Destra, definitely. You want to talk a little bit about that, innovation tunnel and scoping? You asking a question on it? And Zero, my biggest problem I'm facing is a networking aspect. Yes, it's Zero.
Okay, all right. So we would be following up with another webinar. I see our time is up. And certainly I enjoy the interaction for this webinar, and we will have more like that. So thanks again, Annette, Jones, and all the other persons.
Here, Mr. Frederick. My boy, Mr. Frederick. Did he come on?
Yes, he's on.
I didn't hear him. I ain't hearing you. Last time I see you.
Yes, Annette, I'm here. I'm hearing you.
Yep, you have the same number?
Of course.
All right. Okay, love. All right.
Okay, so thank you once again. We would send out an email with the asking for evaluation of the webinar, but we'll also, when you respond to the evaluation, we will send you the links to this and all the other webinars we had. So we had design thinking, we had intellectual property, we had what else again, Shivani?
Project management. Risk management. Yeah.
Have a wonderful afternoon. Please stay safe until we meet our next webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
It was nice meeting you, Shivani.
All the best, Annette. You too.
Bye, everybody.
All right, and Jones, everybody. Mr. Maurice, you keep on going.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.